Hi friends, welcome to IAS and College Connect. In this videos, we are going to discuss about how to perform the update operations on JSON server using Angular. In previous videos, we discussed about how to perform the deletion operations. In this videos, we are going to see about how to perform the update operation. Let's proceed into the implementation part. Okay, so first what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create an endpoint first. Okay, so it's going to be same as add. Okay, so extra things we are going to pass is we are going to use put operation instead of post. We are going to put. Okay, I'm just going to copy this. Okay, so here add students. I'm just going to change the add students to update students. As I already told that the extra things what we are going to do is we are going to pass which students record we are going to perform the update operation. So I'm just going to create one variable id. It is going to be any data type. Here we need to pass the id along with the data which we are going to perform the update operation. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use plus, and then in double quotes I'm going to put slash, and then I'm going to concatenate the id values. Okay, so which id I want to update this particular record. Okay, so API URL endpoint slash ID. Okay, so then that should be followed by the values which I want to perform the update operation. Okay, so here you see we finish the endpoint for the update operation. Now we are going to create one more component for performing the update operation. So for creating the component, we are going to use ngg and then component, and then I'm going to create the component on which folder? Component folder. Okay. So what is the component name? Which is going to be update records. Update record. Sorry, I'm just going to give update only. Okay. So press enter. Now you see three files is get created. Okay. So here I'm navigating this update component. I don't want this spec.tss file, so that I'm just editing it. Okay, so whatever the form designs which I used for this add operation, I'm going to use it the same thing, so that I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it on the update component.html file. Okay, so here instead of insertion done successfully, I'm just going to pass the message update done successfully. Update done successfully. Okay, so here moving to this ts file, add student ts file. Okay, so here all the I'm going to use all the data whichever we are used. Okay, so but I'm just going to copy the entire thing. Okay, so for what are the things I used for the add. Okay, so I'm moving to this ts file. I'm going to paste it over here. Right. Okay. So here we are going to import all those things one by one. All the coding methods are same, but only thing is we are going to read the values. Okay, so instead of add students, I'm just going to write a method update students. Update students. Okay, so I'm going to create this method on here. Right. So first what we are going to do, so we need to get the values, right? Okay, so when the user is going to click this update button, we need to read the values. Okay, so for that we are going to create an anchor tag inside this view component.html file. Okay, so here we are missing one more close tab. Okay, so now we are moving to this view component. Okay, so I'm going to add one more thing, that is update options. Okay, so that I'm moving to this view component in the HTML file. Okay, so I'm going to create another link which is for performing the update operation. Now, here you see, I'm just going to write an endpoint for performing the update operations to Okay, so for that I'm moving to this routing file. Before that I show you the output, how it is look like. Okay, so I need to save all. Here is the update operation. When the user is going to click this update, it need to open this form tag like this. Okay, so we are it is going to give all the information, whichever the user data is on here, that information it is going to display it on that particular controls. Okay, so then when we are going to click this update, it is going to update this particular student's data. Okay, so for that we are going to write an endpoint. Okay, so here I'm just going to write the endpoint. I'm just going to copy this. Here I'm going to write the endpoint as update slash id. Okay, so which component need to be called? Okay, it need to call which component? That is update component. Okay, so update component is going to be get called. So we need to import this first. Okay, done. Okay, so here is the, when I'm going to click this update, it is okay, why it is showing this deletion operations? Okay, so here is it, the this endpoint we need to change, right? Okay, so what is the endpoint we given? Okay, which is update. Okay, so when the user is going to click, it is going to check which component we need to call. It move to this, it is going to call update component and it is going to pass the values. Okay, so that is ID. First, we are going to check it. So whether it is calling update component or not. Yes, here you see in the top URL, you will be find this update slash some values. Okay. So we need to give some information on the top right. Okay. So it is update component. So that what I'm going to do, I'm going to write in the update component HTML file. I'm just going to mention in the H1 tag or H2 tag update student records. Here you see, it is displaying update students record. Okay, so write simple CSS design. Okay, so color, it is going to be #123, and then font size, I'm going to mention it as 24 pixels. So color, text color, I'm just going to give it in blue color. Okay, so now you see we got it, right? Okay, so instead of 16. Okay, done. Okay, so here when the user is going to click this update button, it is giving navigating to this update component HTML file. Now along with this, it need to display the particular student's details. Okay, so on this which text box? In this particular text box. For that, first we need to read the values. Okay, so as I already explained on the previous session, in the deleting operations. Okay, so we use uh, snapshot, right? Okay, so that is router, activator, router, and router. Okay, so what is the use of activator, router? What is the use of router? Everything I already explained, right? Okay, so activator router is used to read the values which is present on the endpoint. Okay, so this endpoint. Okay, so that I'm just going to use both of this classes in this update TS file. Okay, in the constructor, I'm just going to create two things. One is private, that is a router, which is going to be activator router. Okay, so another one is going to be a private normal router. Okay, so for navigation purpose. Okay, so router. Okay, so here we implement two things. Sorry, router. Okay, done. Now you see, first when this particular component is get loaded, okay, so I'm going to check whether we are getting this values from the URL point. We need to read it, right? Okay, so here I'm going to read the values. First, I'm going to read the values. For that, I'm just going to create one more variables on here. Okay, so that is ID values. So which is going to be string type string. Okay, so here when this particular component is get loaded, we need to read the values. Okay, so that I'm just going to store the values on the ID values which is already we created on here. Okay, so now I need to read the values. Okay, so this dot a router dot snapshot. Then I'm just going to use param map. Okay, so in that I'm just going to get which values. So the values is we need to refer the router. Here you see what is the variable name. It is ID, right? That value only we are going to read. Okay, so here inside this get operation, I'm going to put the ID. Sorry, only ID. We need to give the ID, right? Okay, so I'm going to this dot id. We need to typecast to the string data type. Okay, so here I'm going to typecasting to the string. Okay, done. So when this particular component is get loaded, it is going to read the values which is present on the URL endpoint. I'm just going to print it on the alert box to check it whether we are getting the right values or not. Done. Okay, so here you see here when we are going to load this component, it is displaying whatever the values which is present on the URL endpoint. Okay, so here I'm going to add some more record. Okay, so then so and click register. Okay, so here is I'm moving to this view component. Here when I'm going to click the rosen, it is going to display this ID on the alert box. Okay, so then here is it is navigating to this app update students record component. Here what we need to do, we need to display the informations on here. There is particular students records on this the text box. Okay, so how to display this information? Okay, so for that we need to read the values. Okay, so based on ID. Okay, so here which we already written, right? Okay, so when this particular component is get loaded, okay, so here we are going to read the values. If the values is present, if this dot, okay, so in case if the values is present, then what we are going to do, we are going to make an call. Okay, so that is this dot. So already we having already we injected the network call services, right? Okay, so network call services, what is the dependencies? It is network call. This dot network call dot which method here we are having to read the students based on the ID, that is get student by ID, right? Okay, so inside this we need to pass the ID values. Okay, so here you see this is the alert messages, it is throwing the values, right? Okay, so we are going to read it. Okay, so here we are going to read it. Okay, so then we are going to make a call. Okay, so for that I'm going to use subscribe method. Okay, so inside this I'm just going to read the values data. Okay, so then fallback. Okay, so here what we are going to do, it is going to return the data, right? Okay, so here we are going to push the data into the form, that is form group name. Okay, so here you see we are going to use this dot. Okay, so form group name is fg. Okay, so here we are going to pass the values. Okay, so only the particular values, so that we are going to use patch value. What is the use of patch value means? It is going to update only in case if you want to update all the record means. Okay, so you can use the set values. In case if you want to update only the particular record means, then you go with this patch value. Okay, so here we are going to update only the name and date of birth. Okay, so we are not going to update the ID. Okay, so I'm just going to use ID is a unique one too. Okay, so here we are going to use the patch value. Okay, so here inside this, we are going to pass the date. Okay, so now you see, now I'm going to see that particular student's record is get displayed. Okay, so view students. Okay, so in case if I'm going to click the update button, it is going to display the Roshan Vinod Kumar and 2001 12. Okay, so here I'm going to click the update button. It is throwing the particular student's record on here. Okay, so now in case if I want to do any changes on the date of birth or name, I can do the changes. And here you see it is showing register. Okay, so here I'm going to move to this update component.html. Okay, so in that value, I'm just going to pass it as update. Okay, so now you see update. Okay, so once we are going to click pass the values and click the update button, what it is going to do, it is this value should be added into the database and it is navigate to this particular component. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to write the coding for it. Okay, so when the user is going to click this update button, that is this submit button, it is going to call which method? Student update method, which is present on the TypeScript. Okay, so here you see I'm just going to return this update students. Okay, so what it is going to do on here? Okay, so it is checking the values is valid or not. Okay, so in case if it is valid, okay, so we are going to call the service class method. Okay, so service method which we already written. Okay, so here you see what the method, it is update student details. Here we are going to pass two information. One is ID, another one is students data. Okay, we need to call this method in the TypeScript file. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a call. Okay, so for that, I need to access the service class dependencies, which is what is the service class dependencies? Okay, so here is in the router, okay, so router is the service class, sorry, network call services. Okay, so we return the endpoint for this update operations inside which class? Okay, network class services. Okay, so we injected the network call services, the dependencies is network call. Okay, so we are going to call this network call. Okay, so inside this, which method we need to call? Update students details. Okay, so here we need to pass two informations in the update services. What are it? One is going to be a student ID. Okay, so which we received. Okay, so that is here, you see what is the method? This dot id values. Okay, so we need to pass this values. Another one is going to be the data. Okay, so that data is nothing but here this dot fg dot, that is a form data. Okay, so this dot fg dot. Okay, so then we need to pass values. Okay, so we are passing two information. One is which students record need to update, and then the entire data. Okay, so we are going to call the subscribe method on here. Okay, subscribe. Okay, so here I'm going to make a fallback method. Okay, so here I'm going to pass a fallback method. Here it is going to return some values, right? Okay, so I'm just going to print some informations on the um, alert message first. Okay, so alert, I'm just going to mention update done successfully. Okay, so now you see I'm just going to uh, make a call. Okay, so to this update component. Okay, so here I'm just going to uh, update. It is throwing the data like this. Okay, so I'm just going to update the date of birth. Okay, so it is going to be 30 12 12 12, or else I'm just going to mention 18. Okay, sorry, 18. Okay, so I'm just going to press update button. Okay, so here it is now not calling this update method. Okay, so I need to save all. I hope save all also done. Okay, update students valid. Okay, so here we are calling this. Okay, so check it. No update operation has done. Not done. Let's check what mistake we did. So you're pausing and we are calling. Okay, so here is I need to use put method. Instead of post, I need to use put method. That is a mistake I did. I hope. Okay, so let's check it. So here I'm just going to give Vinod Kumar instead of Vinod. I'm just going to pass V Niranjan. Okay, so update. Okay, update done successfully. Okay, so now I'm going to check this. Now you see the data is get updated. Okay, so here, why after performing the update operation, it automatically navigate to this particular component. For that, what we are going to do, we are going to write this navigate, that is router dot navigate. Okay, so when this update has done successfully, instead of throwing an alert message, okay, so I'm just after throwing that alert message, I'm going to navigate to this another component, view component. For that, we are having which class? Router class. Okay, so here inside this, I'm just going to use this dot router dot navigate. Okay, so here I'm going to pass the endpoint. Okay, so here I'm going to pass the endpoint in the array. Okay, so that is dot. Okay, so what is the endpoint for the view? Okay, so which is the view only. Okay, so copy this endpoint and paste it inside this TypeScript file slash view. Okay, so now I'm just going to perform one more update operation. Okay, so here instead of Roshan Vinod Kumar, I'm just going to type Roshan V and click the update button. Now you see it is throwing an alert update done successfully. Click OK. So now you see both the data is get updated. Hope you understand how to perform the update operations in the JSON server using Angular. If you like this video, please click the subscribe and bell button. Please share this video with your friends. Okay, so in case if you're having any comments and suggestions, please give it on the comment section. Thank you.